after the collapse of the Tudor era, Spurs are turning to a man who knows the league.
I can tell you that in the last few minutes, Brighton have confirmed the appointment of Roberto De Zerbi.
Into Welbeck, in the air, he's got 3 options, and it's smuggled in on the line. It's 4-0.
When his Brighton team were at it, they was good to have seen Brighton.
Brighton will be playing European football next season.
I have to be proud because I saw how much the fans, the players love me.
Eventually, he's gonna manage a top team.
It's my understanding that talks with Roberto De Zerbi really ramped up late last night.
Ryan Mason's got a better win percentage than him in the Premier League.
Would you have Ryan Mason as manager over De Zerbi?
Do you know what? At this point in time, I think I probably would.
I don't think there is a single thing about De Zerbi's body of work that suggests that at this point in time, you give him a 5-year deal.
I'm kind of agreeing with the last one, by the way.
Darren Lewis, I think that was. Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah. What do you think? What? Why have they given him 5 years?
Aye.
Well, for someone that's, I mean, look, I'd be staggered if he gets 3 years, 4 years done. Never mind 5. But look, in the position that he's in right now, and if you want, because I think a lot's been said, Al, in it about the fact that he ideally wanted to take that job in the summer.
Yeah.
Once Tottenham's Premier League status has been secured again. So, look, you know, it's one of those, they negotiate, they get it done. I like him, I've got to say. I don't
mind him.
I do like him. I like a bit of Maverick, a bit of
Yeah,
chaos.
no, I'm ashamed. The only thing I would say, I don't know whether you agree or not.
Go on.
I don't think it really matters who they bring in.
Right now?
Right now, I think there has to be reaction in the dressing room.
Of course there is. Well, he gets that, doesn't he?
Well, in that case, it's maybe a good appointment. Time will tell.
I did read something this morning, mate. His first 5 at Brighton, he didn't win. He didn't win 1 out of his first 5.
Oh.
So, you know, history, if you're a Spurs fan, history would not want to repeat itself in that respect. But
because the first thing you're going to do as a manager, you know, I don't think you're going to get in and organise set plays or do this, that, do it. No. You're going to have to get them turned around with an attitude.
Correct. No, you are. Definitely.
Because
right.
I look at him, Andy, and Liverpool aside, and maybe the home game against Atletico Madrid, you would have to question it. I keep going on about Archie Gray aside. You would have to question, do they look as though they're up for the fight? Because that's what they're in. They're in a fight, right? We know that down there. It's a fight. I've seen West Ham enough to know that they can handle it.
Yep.
Not to say they won't go down, but they can handle a fight. Leeds are the exact same. Forest the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Tottenham would still be the one for me that would have a question mark against them.
Well, they had the couple of games, the home game against Atletico Madrid and then the Liverpool game. They showed bits there that any manager coming through the door think, all right,
yeah,
I've got something there I can get my teeth stuck into, and I've got something there I can work with. But for too often they've been so disappointing, and most of them have looked like they've chucked it. Most of them have, because look, the truth of the matter is, if you're a player nowadays of some repute and they've got plenty of players in that bracket,
they'll be away.
The easiest way for them to get out of the club is if they
100%.
get relegated.
100%.
Be straight out the door.
Absolutely. And you know something? When you look at it, if they go down, some would argue it's all about keeping your best players. But if you look at what they did in the top flight, if they're not up for the fight, you may be better getting rid of them. If the attitude's not great, you know?
Yeah, no, dead right. De Zerbi is one of those that I always look at him and I think, once I could see him coming through the door and having an impact, and as you said, quite rightly said, getting players tuned in very quickly. He's got to get that. I don't know how much. I don't know into how much detail he starts going into the ins and outs of absolutely what he wants to do.
That's what I think.
How do you implement that?
In 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
And do you do that now, or do you not think, right, just to start?
That is a summer job, mate.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? That is. But I do like the fella, and I do think that the problem Spurs will have is when he gets if he comes in and does well, he'll want everything. And look, and that's the best way a manager can be. They've got to be. He's a demanding guy, but I think you've only got to look at.
Well, if they never get Conte or Pochettino or Nuno or Big Ange, are they going to start? I know there's a change at the top, but
they've had so many. So look, but I think on the face of it, it needed something. Personally, I would personally, if I was in that Tottenham, I would have just gone for someone now between now and the summer just to keep me in the division.
That's what I'd have done.
I'd have definitely probably just done that.
I've got to be honest, Andy, and that's exactly what I would have done. Had I got somebody that would absolutely lifted the place.
Yep.
Whether it was a Harry, whether it was a Chris Houghton, whether it was Glenn, whatever it may be, just get the fans united, get the whole place say, oh, there's one of our own back.
Yeah.
Now, of course it doesn't guarantee you stay in the division.
No.
But I think the first thing it does, it unites you. Because there will be a kind of split still with the Tottenham fan base right now saying, you know, I heard Jimmy Harris saying this, you know, and there's no doubt about it. He can coach and he can manage, but there'll still be a question mark.
Of course there is, yeah. Yeah, there will be.
I tell you what, it does beg a question. Why did they make the move, not the last move? Igor Tudor.
Yeah, well, I think at that time, after he'd just come out of Marseille. Yeah, I think at that time, Ali, I think the response maybe Spurs had got was that I wouldn't take it until the summer, until I know you've got Premier League status.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, and I think that's what it was at that point. However, it's moved on now, needs must. They've obviously got back in contact and said, look, you can have this, you can have that. Yes, you can bring this one, you can bring that guy in. He's going to bring he's bound to bring a small army of people in and around him.
Yeah.
And then, but with someone like De Zerbi, I think they get very, he's an emotional guy, you can tell. And they get very animated very quickly when they don't have their own way. And that won't happen for a while, of course, because it's no time to stamp your feet here and there right now, because he's got his hands full with just trying to keep them up.
Well, you're spot on your assessment. I'm just reading it in front of me. De Zerbi took 5 games to get his first win at Brighton.
Yeah.
And obviously Spurs are absolutely desperate at this moment in time for points. He's reportedly arriving in a club record 5-year deal, despite his reputation, as you correctly mentioned, for clashing with owners. talkSPORT understands De Zerbi was hesitant until offered record-breaking money, and crucially, the choice to stay or walk if the club dropped into the Championship.
Wow, now that I don't get. I don't understand why.
No, neither do I.
The option to walk
because
out.
that is not for me. That's not a real level of commitment.
No chance. You can't. That to me seems very, very strange to say to him, here's the crown jewels, you've got 5 years, you can have this, you can have that. Yes. Of course, yeah. Have all these little demands that the contract would throw up. Oh, and by the way, I want to jump out if
I'm with you.
If this is an absolute nightmare and they get relegated. Hold on a minute. No. Don't work that way. I'm very surprised they would allow that to happen. Very, very surprised. If that's true.
He's never been at a club longer than 3 years.
No.
But, you know, time will tell, Andy. I've got to say, because they are banging it. I would say, was it Steve? No, we didn't. It was with Simon on yesterday, mate. And I think West Ham were just favourites to go down at even money. I think he told us that Tottenham were 11 to 10. I think it's between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I'd say, mate, I'd be leaning towards Tottenham at this moment in time.
Yeah,
definitely. Unless there's a dramatic change.
Yeah. Unless he can come in there and instantly just provide the players with a bit of inspiration. Because there's some talented boys there, Ali. When you actually started to look at the squad, I know they've had some bad injuries to some key boys, particularly up front in the forward areas, Spurs.
Oh, they have.
For years when we saw them when they had Son and Kane and Lucas Moura and people like that, whatever, that could all pacey and quick and could finish. And then up front at the moment, whether it's been...
Well, Solanke was out for a period. Madison's really struggled.
All those
Kulusevski. I mean, they have had horrendous injuries.
They've had bad injuries, but also some of the others I don't think are good enough.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're up to the level really for Spurs in that area. Around the rest of the park, they've got some good players.
Some talented boys.
So he's going to have to. He's. I would imagine he's the sort of guy, Ali, that instantly will walk in and he'll grab them. He'll grab their attention and he'll absolutely let them know in no uncertain terms what is acceptable and what isn't.
Well, he's going to have to, mate. Spurs fans want to take your calls this morning. How are you feeling about De Zerbi? Let us know.